Hello everyone, my name is Simran and I'm going to teach you science. Students, in the last class we have discussed the concept of your chapter number 5, that is separation of substances. Okay, so in this class we are going to discuss the questions and answers of this particular chapter. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed about so many separating methods like sedimentation, decantation, evaporation, condensation and saturated solution. Okay, so we'll be using that particular concept while doing the questions and answer session. Alright students, so let's start. The first question is, why do we need to separate different components of a mixture? Give two examples. Alright students, why do we need to separate different things? Alright, because we don't want to have some waste and harmful products in our diet or in some another useful activity that we want to do. Okay, for removing any unuseful and some harmful substances from a particular substance, we need to separate different things. Alright students, for example students, if you want to have the pulao, your mama has made some pulao, okay, and you don't like to eat the peas, what you do? You just pick that piece up, throw it, pick that piece up, throw it, and in this process of picking up and throwing, you are separating the peas from the pulao, right? And then you will be eating that particular pulao that is your favorite one, because in that particular pulao no peas are there. Alright, so you do the separation according to your convenience as well. Okay, so why do you need to separate different things? For removing waste and unuseful products. Alright students, so let's discuss. Among different components of mixture, there are many substances which are harmful or not useful for us. To remove these harmful or unuseful components, we need to separate them. Alright students, that is why we separate different things for removing the unuseful products and harmful products. Alright students, and the examples of these particular things are, when you want to prepare the tea, you just separate the tea leaves from the prepared tea, okay, with the help of a strainer. Okay, so tea leaves are separated from the liquid with a strainer while preparing the tea. Alright, and the second example, when you want to prepare rice, pulses or dal, okay, at your home, what you do? You just separate the pebbles and the small stones and dust particles from that particular thing. Alright students, so stones, pieces from wheat, rice or pulses are picked out by our hand, and in this way we separate different things. Alright students, so we'll just move to the next question. Next question, that is second question, says, what is winnowing? Where is it used? We have discussed in the first class of this chapter. Okay, what is winnowing? Winnowing is the process of separation. In that particular process, what will happen? This is a woman, she is using this particular strainer, and with the help of this she is standing at some height and letting the mixture go. What will happen? With the direction of wind or air, the lighter particles will fly away with the direction of the wind and the heavier particles will settle down and form a heap. Alright students, so winnowing is used to separate heavier and lighter components of a mixture. Where it is used? When you want to separate heavier and lighter particles. Alright students, by the wind or by blowing air. This process is used by the farmers to separate lighter husk particles from heavier seeds of grains. Alright students, so this is what winnowing is all about. Alright students, next we are going to discuss, how will you separate husk or dirt particles from a given sample of pulses before cooking? How will you separate that? You will separate the sample of pulses and husk and dirt particles mixed in it before cooking. You will use the process of winnowing, the similar process that we have discussed. Let it be like this, and what will happen? The lighter particles will fly away with the help of the blowing air and the heavier particles will settle down and form a heap, and in this way the unused and harmful particles will be separated. Alright students, so husk or the dirt particles can be separated by winnowing. Being lighter, they'll fly away from the pulses. Alright students, this is what we have discussed. Alright students, now the fourth question, very easy and very important. What is sieving? Where is it used? What is sieving? In this picture you can clearly see, when you want to have the dough of the wheat or of the flour. Okay, what you do it like this with the help of the sieve. You do it like this. What will happen? The dirt particle, the very fine minute unused and dirt particle will just remain on that sieve, and the very fine and very useful particles, that is the flour or the wheat, will be coming out of that particular fine pores of the sieve and will make a dough with the help of this. Alright students, and by this process we can separate the stones, pebbles and very fine particles, dust particles, from this particular method. Okay, so sieving is the process by which fine particles are separated from the bigger particles by using a sieve, by using this thing. Okay, where it is used? It is used in the flour mill. Okay, when you want to separate the flour from the pebbles, stones, like that. Okay, and it is also used at construction sites when you have a mixture of sand, stones and cement. Okay, then you need to separate those things with the help of a big sieve. Alright students, so it is used in flour mill or at the construction sites. Okay students, in flour mill the impurities like husk and stones are removed from wheat, pebbles and stones are removed from the sands by sieving. This is what we have discussed. Alright students, so the next question, what is it? How will you separate sand and water from their mixture? You have a mixture of sand and water. How will you separate that? Just go to the last class that we have discussed. I have just told a similar example to you. What was that process? By the process with the help of which we are separating that particular thing, that is the muddy water, that is water and sand. Just go to your last class, rewind it well. What was that? It was decantation. Alright students, in that particular process you were having some water and sand in it. Stand then for a few minutes. What will happen? After a few minutes, water and sand will separate. Sand will form the bottom layer because sand is heavy. It will settle down and water will be appearing at the top of the layer of the beaker or a glass. Alright students, and then you will drain or pour out water from that particular mixture, and in this particular help or with the help of this process decantation, you can separate sand and water from each other. Alright students, so we will separate sand and water by sedimentation and decantation method. Okay, firstly we leave this mixture for some time. After some time the sand, which is heavier, will settle down at the bottom. After that we'll pour water into another container and the mixture will be separated. Alright students, this was all about sedimentation and decantation. We have discussed in the last class. Okay, and now as well. Okay students, so now we'll be discussing about the next question. What it is? Next question is it possible to separate sugar mixed with the wheat flour? If yes, how will you do that? This is very simple. You have sugar mixed with the wheat flour. Wheat flour is, students, very fine, whereas sugar is somewhat like larger or a heavier particle as compared to that wheat flour. Alright students, what will happen? Sugar can be separated from the wheat flour by sieving, because with the help of a sieve you are getting that particular mixture in the sieve. You will just do it like that. Wheat flour is very thin, okay, and it will pass from the sieve, and sugar will remain on the sieve, okay, because sugar is somewhat larger or a heavier particle than wheat flour, and in this particular method you can separate this mixture. Okay, due to the difference in the size of particles, sugar will stay on the sieve and wheat flour will pass through it. Okay students, so this was all about 6th question. Okay, so let's discuss about the 7th question. What it is? This is, how would you obtain clear water from a sample of muddy water? Okay, this can be done with the process of filtration. How? You have a filter paper, okay, you just fix that filter paper in the funnel by having the shape of the cone. When you are making the filter paper a shape of cone, you just fixed into the funnel and pour the muddy water into it. Okay, what will happen? The clear and very clean water will be coming out of that particular funnel into that beaker, and on that particular filter paper the mud will remain stick. It will not pass from that particular filter paper. Okay, so in this process we can clearly separate clean water and the sand or the mud. Okay, so we'll obtain clear water from a sample of muddy water by the process of filtration. Okay, we have discussed in the last class. A filter paper is the one such filter that has very fine particles, okay, very fine pores in it. Shows the steps involved while doing the filtration process. First process, a filter paper folded in the form of a cone is fixed in the funnel. We have discussed it. Okay, the mixture is then poured on the filter paper. Solid particles in the mixture do not pass through it and remain on the filter. Alright students, so this was all about this question. What is filtration all about? Okay, so let's discuss the next question. It is all about fill in the blanks. Okay, so first part, the method of separating seeds of paddy from its stalks is called. So the process of separating seeds of paddy from stalks is called threshing. What is it called? Threshing, students. Okay, next, when milk cooled after boiling is poured onto a piece of cloth, the cream is left behind on it. This process of separating cream from the milk is an example of what process? It is an example of filtration. Why? Because you are using a piece of cloth as a filter paper. Okay, so this process is called filtration. Alright students, filtration. Okay students, so let's see the next part. Salt is obtained from the sea water by the process of what? Very simple. We get salt from the sea water by the help of the process evaporation. Alright students, so evaporation. Okay, next part. Impurities settled at the bottom when muddy water was kept overnight in the bucket. The clear water was then poured off from the top. The process of separation used in this example is, we have done in the last class, we have done already this question in this class also. Okay, so this process in which muddy water is separated with water, okay, overnight, keeping it up, settling down, what is it? Decantation. So it is an example of decantation. Alright students, so let's move to the next part. What it is? True or false? If the statement is true, then you have to mention true, and if the statement is false, you have to write false. Okay, a mixture of water and milk can be separated by filtration. No, you can't separate milk and water with the help of filtration. So this is false, means F. Okay students, next, a mixture of powdered salt and sugar can be separated by the process of winnowing. No students, you can't with the help of winnowing separate powder salts and sugar. Okay, so this is also false. Alright students, so we'll see the next part. What is it? Separation of sugar from tea can be done with the help of filtration. Is that so? No students, this is false. Next, grain and husk can be separated with the help of the process decantation. No, grains and husk are separated by the process of winnowing. Okay, so this is also false. Okay students, so these were the true false. Now we'll discuss the last question of our chapter. What is it? Lemonade is prepared by mixing lemon juice and sugar in the water. You wish to add ice to cool it. Should you add ice to the lemonade before or after dissolving the sugar? Okay, in which case would it be possible to dissolve more sugar? What is this? You want to make the lemonade with the help of lemon, sugar, ice and water. The question is asking you whether you should add ice before dissolving sugar or after dissolving sugar, or in what case you can add more sugar. Students, remember one thing, when you want to dissolve any particular thing to the water, you need to have the temperature high, okay? The more the temperature is, the more substance can be dissolved in it, okay? So you need to dissolve the sugar before adding ice. We'll add the ice cube after we have dissolved the sugar in it. Alright students, so have a look. We should add ice after dissolving the sugar. When the temperature is high, then more sugar can be dissolved. After mixing ice, it gets cool and less sugar will get dissolved in it. Alright students, when the temperature is high, more sugar can be dissolved, okay? So you should add and dissolve the sugar first, and then you will add the ice cubes. Alright students, so remember how to make a lemonade properly. Alright students, so today we have completed the chapter number 5, that is separation of substances. Alright students, do study at your home, okay? Till then, bye bye, we'll meet in the next class doing 6th chapter of your syllabus, that is changes around us. So you can also study that chapter in your class or at your home, okay students? Bye bye.